Okay, folks, so a few weeks ago we took down a couple of trees. You can see a stump there. That's an older stump in the center of the picture now. Newer stump, and then there's another one. Well, see if I can kind of get around and show you. There's another one right there. So we took those trees down. We have since planted, you can barely tell it's a tree, but that stake there is a purple orchid tree, actually from my garden. Transplanted over here now because it's going to get some sun and hopefully it'll grow and it'll be a nice looking tree. And Mom and Dad have come up with a plan for what they want to do with the side yard here, so time to execute. To my surprise, first thing to do is actually removing the ground cover. I thought we were going to leave a lot of the ground cover in, but they've told me just go ahead and pull it all up, and since trash can's full, I'm just going to stack it in the corner. Okay, so I got the bulk of it removed, and what I realized while I was doing that, whoops, just ran into one of the sprinkler heads. What I realized is this stuff is kind of coming up in mats. I mean, so I want to get as much of the root system out as I can. So I'm having to kind of dig down, pull up, and then a lot of the dirt's coming out to the sidewalk here, but ultimately I will sort it out and get it back in, get the dirt back into the bed and get rid of the vegetation. But you can see it looks a bit different now. Okay, it's lunchtime and it may not look all that different. You can see the pile developing in the back, but when you go to pull it up as a mat, all in mass if you will, it tends to bring a lot of dirt with it. So I'm literally having to sort through and separate the roots from the dirt so I can actually return the dirt back to the bed. Okay, so it's a bit later. Lunch has come and gone. I spent more time going through this, and it's getting cleaner. We did decide to go ahead and get rid of the mulch that was under that plant because there were weeds interspersed throughout it, and that gave me a chance to really kind of dig down and make sure I at least really gave it a shot at digging up the mat of roots that grow for the weed grass and the ground cover that was there. I still have this one to do, but basically I'm up to where that last plant is on the right. I've got that much cleaned up, going back that way, and the pile is building, and now I've got this big pile that I gotta go through and pull the actual vegetation out and put the dirt back and then level it all before I can do any digging to plant. I think we have some really nice neighbors. One of them came over, saw the little sifting rig, that square thing back there, and my measly little blue bucket, and said, oh, I've got a much bigger sifting thing, which you can see is that half barrel and a milk crate. I'd never really thought about that, but that's the way to do it. And he helped me get through a bunch of it, and I pulled some more out and went and took a break. So Nick, thank you, I appreciate that. And that's what it's looking like now. It's still going to take a bit of work, but I got to finish cleaning this up. Sorry about the helicopter, I don't have control over that. And get the soil that's in that barrel and what I get out of this, and then put it back in, level it all out, and start plopping plants in. Okay, I think it's finally time to plop a few plants in the ground. We got one over there which isn't planted yet. One right there, not planted yet. And a bunch in pots, not planted yet. And then I got to restore some of the mulch from around the bougainvillea. So off we go. Well, I guess I'd call that progress. From the street it's not totally obvious yet, but we've got one of the geraniums in on the left there, 5 more lined up. I think I'm actually going to try and level the ground, because you can see it kind of goes up a hill there, so I may try and level that bed a little bit better. Then we've got one of these yucca, I think that's what it's called. We got one here that's planted, so that's where it's going to be. And we got one more over here. And these were just taken out of the backyard, transplanted here. Dad says, yeah, you just cut them off, cut the stem, and it'll root. So there they are. I threw in a little bit of starter fertilizer, and you still need to put down the mulch back around this, but you can see it's all looking that much cleaner now. Okay, dinner time now. And I'm basically down to clean up. I got everything planted, clean up, and then I'll have to come back and spread all of the mulch. But that's 2/3 of a bag, got 4 of the geraniums. I'm tired, but actually this is kind of nice lighting to look at all this, and so you can see what the rest of it looks like. And then on top of that, Mom and Dad did a fair amount of trimming and what have you, so now here's what it looks like out front. Dad had already dug the hole and placed the plant. I just made sure it was in and kind of patched the mulch, made it all look a little bit better. We still got a ton of cleaning up to do, but that may be good enough for tonight. I'm gonna go eat.